Hard to believe now, but a year ago, optimism was the first thing that greeted you upon arrival in Ukraine. There was not even a whiff of war when we got there in July 2021. I just landed. We're in Ukraine. Eager to explore this mysterious outpost of the former Soviet Union.
We're on a bridge in Kiev. I'm not exactly sure where in Kiev we're at.
With its stark Eastern European architecture,
Beautiful, gorgeous day, holy crap.
and ornate onion-domed cathedrals dotting the landscape in every direction. The purpose of this visit was multifold. Tick off another obscure country, one that no one we know has ever visited, in our quest to eventually visit every nation on the globe. And more importantly, celebrate a major milestone in Sean's life. In the strangest, most sinister, most mysterious spot we could think of.
All right, here it is. It is July 22nd, and it is Sean Toll's 40th birthday, and we are going to a nuclear disaster site.
Because that's fun.
It all seems so glib in hindsight. If only we knew then what we know now about what the next few months would hold for Ukraine. If we'd known about the savage, murderous Russian invasion that awaited the good and unsuspecting people of this country, we might not have been so gleeful about navigating what is by any sane measure a very dark and heartbreaking place to visit. I didn't think you could ever come here.
Right, I wouldn't either. And I've been doing it now for over a decade, which is crazy to me to think about.
Sean, yes, here also.
But alas, along with 300 other tourists, there we were, eager to load up on a bus in Kyiv and take the 2-hour drive to the site of the worst nuclear disaster in the history of the planet back in 1986 that sent radioactive fallout all over Europe. There is something so strange about this, of all places, becoming a tourist destination. We could spend all day dissecting what's wrong with humanity that people would want to visit the poisonous spot where a nuclear reactor exploded and people's lives were changed forever. But we were too busy loading up on Chernobyl souvenirs to give that much thought.
What does it say on that?
Chernobyl radioactive. They certainly have turned it into a tourist attraction, although technically we're not called tourists. We're called a delegation here to visit the former nuclear site.
You're a citizen delegate, aren't you?
Yeah. Once through security at the entrance of the Chernobyl exclusion zone, we are free to roam the ruins and remnants of villages, once bustling with families, children, and hope. Their floors now rotted, their ceilings collapsing. These homes are otherwise just as they were when abandoned on April 26, 1986. Here you are inside these people's personal space, inside their lives. But it's also a window into what life was like at that time. I saw a calendar page from 1986 on the floor in there. It was pretty wild. Little did those families know their lives up to that moment would become a time capsule, their villages a backdrop for curious Instagrammers, eager to prove to friends and followers they too visited one of the most forbidden spots on Earth. This macabre tour takes on a Cold War vibe as we approach this massive metal tower nestled in an overgrown forest in Chernobyl's shadow. Come to find out, this decaying labyrinth of antennas once served as a major military tool for the communists. An early warning radar system for the Soviet Union's missile defense, 500 feet high, a half-mile long. The USSR built it in the 1970s to let them know if missiles were inbound, but it never really worked. If ever there was a monument to the bluster and braggadocio of the Soviet Empire, this dilapidated behemoth is it.
Oh, it's crazy. It's cool as hell.
And if ever there was a symbol of the preposterous places people will travel just to brag to social media friends, this must be it too.
What's crazy to me is the number of people you see walking around here doing the same thing we're doing.
What do you mean? I couldn't possibly see how anyone else is doing that right now.
Blame some of it on the HBO series about this disaster that aired a couple of years ago and introduced a new generation to this tragedy. With phone cameras ready, they eagerly snap photos of the place we've all been waiting to see, that famous glimmering silver dome built to entomb the doomed reactor. What's truly stunning is that you can actually get within a couple hundred yards of the worst nuclear disaster in world history. That is reactor number 4 here at Chernobyl. Underneath that metal capsule, it cost about $2 billion to build it. They say that you could fit Notre Dame Cathedral and the Statue of Liberty inside, and the purpose is to try and contain all of that nuclear dust and keep it from getting out. Disturbing as it is to visit the actual site of a nuclear disaster, things really turned dour on the final tour stop, the abandoned city of Pripyat. Business as usual, and then April 26th, 86 happens, and the next day this town is abandoned, and it is just as it was that day now, except nature's taken hold, and it's crazy to see what nature's done. If you wondered what a post-apocalyptic world might look like if we abandoned our cities for 4 decades and let the forests overtake them, well, this is it.
But yeah, there are 2 white sites, 1, 2.
In the hours and days after the nuclear blast, as a toxic cloud enshrouded the city, the 45,000 residents of Pripyat were evacuated, bussed far away, leaving behind their lives and their homes. It's kind of sad that you see the potential that this town had that it never got to realize. And here it all stays, frozen in time, like the never-used amusement park, set to have its grand opening less than a week after the blast. Here it is, rusting in the harsh Ukrainian elements. The grocery store with toppled and rusted carts cluttering the aisles, the office buildings and hotels crumbling in the sun. This was a classroom at a local nursery school. There were still kids' toys scattered about. There are cribs in the room. It's as if nothing has changed since April of 1986 because no locals have been back since they are evacuated. In the classrooms and scattered about town, what's become the ghastly trademark of this abandoned place, a series of creepy dolls, either left behind by children hurriedly ushered out of the disaster site, or a cynic might say brought here later for photo ops to make an already lurid location seem even more grim. It is impossible not to feel like a voyeur here, like your travel bug somehow trumps the privacy the people of Pripyat enjoyed until an accident unwittingly burst open their city and their homes and their lives for the rest of the world to see. And in retrospect, it does not quite seem like the best place to celebrate another spin around the sun. Have you ever had a weirder birthday?
Can't say that I have.
Yeah.
It's like you want to celebrate, but at the same time, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like fun to come here, and it has been.
No, I'm glad we came.
But then you get here and you're like, oh, this was like a lot of lives ruined.
Right, and we knew that coming in, but at the same time, it's like you see it and you feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. It's so powerful just to see the images, to see what happened here, even though it's been 35 years.
It does give you pause, engaging in so-called dark tourism, going to the places associated with tumult and tragedy. Is it the right thing to do? Perhaps not. Is it the last time we'll come to a place like this? We could lie and make ourselves seem more noble, but the real answer is no. We'll probably see what other spots there are on planet Earth like this for us to explore as well. We hope you like this. It's a brand new travel channel from a group of guys who love to see the world and are on a quest to see every corner of it. Check back for new videos every week. And remember, when you choose a window seat, you get the very first view of the adventure that awaits below.
You get in out of it what you put into it. Skepticism and disappointment.